Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am live checking the streams, Everything looks good. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, the 28th of March, January, February, March. We are finishing up Q1, on Monday. Aye. This year is flying by. I have a son who's graduating from high school in 2 months, 8 weeks. 8 weeks and 2 days. He'll be walking across the stage. He is my youngest. So the fall I will have 2 kids in college. 2 kids. Change in the air. Welcome. My name is Keith. I am a professional developer. I have been for 30 years, and I created this stream for people who are in the tech world looking for a job as a place to kind of come and hang out. I stream Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time from Austin, Texas. And during that stream, we talk about the what trends are going on in the job industry by looking at the latest job posting numbers on Indeed.com, and we talk about tech news. That's what we do. Just a place to hang out. You're getting up in the morning, you're grabbing yourself a caffeinated beverage, you are taking on the day by getting those job applications out, and I'm going to be your pal to hang out with. It's Friday. It's been a week, man. I was let down last night by Cursor, the IDE. I had a little break last night. I had about 3 hours to myself to sit down and code, get back to this project I've been working on. And I was having all these issues. I couldn't get it to spit out any code. I finally, 20, 30 minutes into trying to figure out what I'd done wrong, I went and checked the Cursor website. Turns out their system was down. And it was down for quite a while. And that completely screwed my night of programming. I had some Illustrator and Photoshop work to do to support the application, so I ended up shifting gears and working on that. But man, I was settling in to get some code written, and did not happen last night. I checked this morning. It appears that their issues have been resolved, but this is one of those things now when you become more reliant on the AI connection. Unless you're running a local model, your IDE might not have the features anymore. You know, if I were just coding stuff up in VS Code, I wouldn't have had any problems last night. But I didn't go there. I didn't just open up my old, creaky, old cobweb-filled IDE VS Code. I wanted all the latest features. And frankly, I'm paying for Cursor, so it should be working. But yep, here we go. Getting dependent on these tools. And then they let us down, and where are we? Gotta shift gears. Remember what it's like to do math in your head instead of reaching for the calculator that's out of batteries. Such as it is. Here we go. We do stream live on Twitch, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn every morning. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you know anybody who's out there in the job search, please share the stream with them. Let them know that I'm out here. Because it sucks getting a job, man. It's not fun. It is just not fun. You are doing it alone. You're often throwing things out into the void and not getting anything back. You're getting scammers when they do respond to you, trying to con you into different things. It's not fun being in the job search. So we need every little angle to help prop us up, help us keep moving forward, keep consistent about our job search, because those who stay consistent, those who are the most organized, tend to get jobs quicker. So, so yeah, share it with friends and family. Let them know that they don't have to do it alone. They can have my voice in their ear every morning, Monday through Friday. We won't be working tomorrow and on Sunday. I don't stream on the weekends, but I do get up every weekend day, Saturday and Sunday. I try and, I usually get up before everybody else in the house and have some quiet time to myself to get some work done before everybody starts shaking the sleep off. And one of the things I do is I hit Indeed.com. Not Indeed.com. Indeed.com. I hit Indeed.com and look up those job numbers. So let's check out those job numbers. So, we're focused here on web application developers. They tend to be a good barometer of what's going on in the greater tech world. That has been true for the last 30 years. Over time, that might be less and less true with the rise of robotics, with the rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and with the rise of software tools being able to I'm hesitating. Able to build front ends. I'm having these debates with friends about whether AI is better at building back ends or front ends right now, and it generally splits down party lines in the sense of if you're a front end developer like I have been through my career, I don't think AI is very good at doing front ends, but it's great. It's helping me connect with APIs and databases and that kind of stuff that I haven't done. I've done a ton, of course, in my career, but it's not the kind of thing that I get excited to wake up in the morning and tackle. I like that functionality, but I generally appreciate it better if somebody who loves it as much as I love front ends is doing it instead of me, right? So if I have an AI that can help me connect to an API or download the latest backend package and help configure that kind of stuff, well, that just speeds up my personal projects for sure. But the back end people, of course, they just see a mess too on the back end, and they want AI to create a front end for them. And the thing is about AI and LLMs in general is that they give you a statistically average result, that the average result that they've seen the most. And if you're a front end person without a lot of back end chops, the average answer looks amazing because, again, it's not your focus. Same thing is true for the front end. But as a front end developer, I look at things like accessibility. I look at things that, like the real work of a front end developer, gets into the UX UI space, gets into the place where you're not only building an interface but testing an interface. Doing A/B testing, making sure that the green button should be green, the call to action should be where it is, and the text on the call to action should be what it is. Like these things that make an effective, engaging interface that I've focused my career on, whether I was working at Dell or National Instruments, any number of different companies over the last 30 years. The real work of a front-end developer is not just writing some HTML tags and a little bit of CSS. But it's making your best guess, creating an interface, throwing it out in the world, and then testing and iterating and improving. Because a back-end developer can tell if their stuff is efficient. They can tell if their systems are being overloaded, overwhelmed by traffic. There's a lot more crossing T's and dotting I's in the back end of web development. Because it's really just comes down to input and output. But front-end developers, we're dealing with this mushy thing of humans' brains and what makes a good, engaging interface. Trying to guess what a person wants out of an interface, building that thing for them, throwing a little traffic at it, and seeing how they're actually using it. We thought they were going to use this feature. Turns out they don't want that feature at all. They're spending all their time over here on this little thing that we didn't spend much time on. Okay, we got to pivot. Okay, we got to try and improve the thing that they are not engaging with. Is it because they don't need it, or they just don't like it and it could be improved? All these kind of questions of how do you get inside the head of somebody that's on the other side of the planet looking at a device that you can't imagine what it is. That's the kind of mushy world that front-end developers tend to play in. So I tend to think that AI is going to get better at back-end quicker than it will front-end. But we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. But because it gives you the most statistically seen and averaged out answer, those people with expertise are still going to be able to hurdle above the results that come out of LLM. So your job, should you choose to accept it, and I believe you have, is to become an expert. Is to find a thing that you really engage with, that you're really excited by, and go deep. Go very deep on it and become an expert. Experts are never going to be falling out of favors. Nope. So let's look at these entry-level JavaScript positions. The last 7 days over here, bit of a dip. Tariffs are in place. There's been a lot of news this week about the competency of the current administration and their ability to run the country. All this combined with consumer sentiment about rising prices and the looming recession. If you watch the news, not a lot of happy, good, exciting news these days. And companies are circling the wagons, it would appear. We're roughly in this zone still, but we're at the bottom of that zone for the last 10 weeks. 10 weeks, we've been kind of just up and down within this kind of range, and we're at the bottom of this range. Hopefully, things turn around a little bit and we start heading back to the top of the range, but I don't anticipate we breaking through and catapulting until this tariff stuff is behind us, until the current administration, which came in with a hatchet and a pen and started writing a bunch of signing statements, until that stuff kind of calms down a little bit and companies can get a better sense of what's to come. They're probably going to keep these hiring freezes on. They're probably going to keep a tight handle on their wallet. If we look at the last 6 months, as you can see, again, it's been really flat. And if we look a year ago, the thing that you can see is where today we have about half as many job postings going out today as there were this time last year. About half as many. Now that was kind of the peak of last year. There's nothing we can do. Nothing we can do at this point except for ride it out. Spend some time making ourselves more valuable, upskilling, building side projects, working on stuff that will engage with potential employers, will catch their eye and go like, whoa, that was a cool project. Let's call that person in. Let's talk to them. Your resume alone is not going to get you a job these days. We need to prove that we are, engaging and able to put out quality that's better than an LLM. You want the job that these corporate CEOs think LLM's going to take away. You got to be better than that alternative. You got to prove it. We do that by learning, going deep, becoming an expert. Okay. I'm a little congested this morning. Hold on one second. All right. The other thing I like to do every morning is check the news. All right. We got weightlifting Albert Einstein here. From vibe coding to vibe designing, this is the beginning of a new era. Jeremy put out some examples of ChatGPT's new image generation model, and I have to check it out. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time with ChatGPT's model, and we'll see in the news today that a lot of people have been. And that's causing OpenAI some problems. But it is pretty impressive. It is damn impressive. There are some things that I have been asking for over a year from Midjourney, from LLMs, that they have completely struggled with and fell down about. And right out the gate, boom, just solved the problem. Gave me 95% of what I needed. And the rest I could Photoshop. That's what I was doing last night. So, these LLMs, man. I mean, not LLMs. These image models. And this is not a diffusion model. It's not a diffusion model in the same way. I haven't done a deep dive into what makes it different. But it's clearly different. And it's clearly better than the diffusion model that we've been playing around with. Again, for most things, the diffusion model has been great. But there are those edge cases which it just sucks at. And this is, if there was question about whether OpenAI could stay at the forefront, this is a resounding, response. This is really going to show that those billions of dollars invested aren't going to waste right now. And, China might be good at knockoff and efficient models, but they are not innovating in the same way, creating new approaches to this stuff. So, we'll see. We'll see. One of the reasons I go to LinkedIn, is because of the news feed. So let's check some of the news stories out today. Americans are nervous over finances. American workers are feeling worse about their financial futures these days. According to LinkedIn's Workforce Confidence Survey, workers' confidence in the ability to improve their financial situations in the next 6 months was lower in February than it has been since the survey began in April of 2020, the early days of the pandemic-driven economic instability. As the new economic concerns arise, workers' confidence in their career growth and jobs prospects has also dropped to never-before-seen lows. We get these stories come out. They're not shocking. We can all sort of intuitively feel that that's the case. My wife's, she's an attorney who works for the state. Her job is pretty secure. It's not going anywhere. So we got that as a backdrop. But I'm working in education, in tech education, and it has struggled over the last 18 months. We've had several times at my day job had the conversation that we might be going out of business. Now, we're holding on. We're cutting to the bone. We're innovating. Because, people need education, especially in a world that's changing as fast as it is. So, I do believe the long-term prospects are good, but people don't have the time. They don't have the money to spend in the same way that they used to. So it's challenging for my business. I got a job. I've had a job for since the pandemic, but it doesn't feel like we're in a growth industry right now. So, and I got one kid in college and another one about to start college. We've got money put away for that. They're not going to leave college with a bunch of debt, but we also don't have a ton of money beyond that ready for retirement. So, in our household, we're not taking big ticket trips. We're not buying new cars. This is where we're at. High interest rates are not helping. If you want to do a renovation on your house, if you want to buy a new car, if you want to buy a new house, those interest rates are not good, and they don't seem to be going down anytime soon. So all that leaves people a little concerned about where things are going, for sure, rightfully. And the tariffs for automakers went into effect yesterday. The president asked American automakers not to raise their prices before issuing tariffs. Wall Street Journal, citing anonymous sources, said the 25% tariffs on cars and vehicles parts imported from outside the U.S. are expected to have significant yet varied impact on the North American automakers. The key question is how much of the costs automakers will absorb and how much they'll pass on to consumers. Either way, the levies will reduce their profits. Well, prices are expected to jump by about $6,700 per vehicle, analysts said. Tesla is seen as the winner, given its vehicles sold in the U.S. are made in California and Texas, though its costs are expected to rise because it buys some parts from overseas, but not nearly as many. The thing about an electric vehicle is it's just a less complicated, physically complicated machine. It doesn't have carburetors, it doesn't have mufflers, it doesn't have all these parts that need to be manufactured and assembled. So it's seen as not going to be hit as bad. 40% of General Motors U.S. car sales last year came from vehicles built overseas, particularly in Mexico. Ford manufactures roughly 80% of its vehicles and sells it in the United States domestically, but the company still relies on overseas factories for key parts, such as engines. This is going to be a trailing indicator. It takes time to build a car. The question is whether or not automakers and auto sellers are going to take advantage of this news and start raising their prices even before their costs go up. That'll be the question. Are they going to try and get ahead of this and slowly start raising their rates so that they can start to bank some money, sock away some cash to kind of offset it? We'll see. I definitely know I'm not in the market for a new vehicle right now. How about you? You gonna buy a new car? I don't think so. Meta unveils OG Facebook features. This was an interesting story. Meta is attempting to revitalize Facebook by implementing what the company calls OG Facebook experiences. A new feature dubbed the Facebook Friends tab was unveiled Thursday, which prioritizes the most recent posts from users' friends. So a social media platform is going to show me the posts of my social network. This is a radical idea. Radical new idea. Rather than the algorithm-driven recommended content. I deleted, several times over the years I've stepped away from Facebook. I'm taking a break for 6 months. But it always pulled me back in because there's some Facebook friends that I only interacted with through Facebook. And I thought, well, if I completely get off Facebook, I'll just lose touch with those people. Uh, I'll never talk to them again. I'll never know what's going on in their lives. But it all came to a head last year, man. There was so much crap in the feed that was not my friends' content that I was just like, I'm done. I can't keep up with this nonsense. And I completely deleted my account, downloaded all my data, and deleted my Facebook account. And if they would have introduced this feature 6 months ago, I'd still be on Facebook probably. It's interesting. It's interesting. But I still don't trust them. Not going back. Not going back. Not going back. What are you going to do? Price is forecast to remain stable. The key price gauge Friday is forecast to show inflation remains stable in February, likely reinforcing the case of keeping interest rates unchanged. The U.S. personal consumption expenditures is expected to have risen an annual 2.5%, same as in January. The measure included volatile items such as food. Excluding volatile items such as food is a forecast to increase 2.7%. That's a trailing indicator. We don't know where things, we'll have to look back in a month and see where things are today. This is interesting. Mr. Beast and a bunch of other influencers are going to do a big event for advertisers. It's invite only, so you and I can't go. But to get the biggest advertisers, Coke, and the automakers and all those guys together to have unprecedented access to top talent like Mr. Beast, to woo them over to start buying ads or making brand deals, making brand deals. This is the world we're at. Influencers have influence, and they've been outperforming. The top ones have been outperforming traditional media, so they should be getting paid by traditional media. Should be getting paid. Okay, here's the story we're going to wrap up with today. OpenAI's latest image generator has flooded the internet with anime and Studio Ghibli style portraits. And although it's super fun seeing people love images, quote unquote, in ChatGPT, Sam Altman said our GPUs are melting. They're melting. The company has rolled back usage of the feature, which runs on ChatGPT 4.0, to safeguard its processors until more efficient methods become available, CNBC said. Altman also said users of the free tier will soon, quote unquote, be able to generate up to 3 images per day. Yeah, I mean, I keep saying this. I've said it many times in the last couple of months. We don't know what these things are costing. They're subsidizing this stuff for us. And we are getting the biggest benefit right now. All these models are free or very cheap to run. But at some point, this bubble's going to burst. They won't be able to raise any more money. And they're going to have to become profitable. And when they do, we're going to see the cost of a credit, quote unquote, go up considerably. We have no idea where this is going. Okay, everybody. Time to wrap it up for the week. Again, I won't be broadcasting tomorrow and Sunday, but you know what? I will be up early checking the job numbers, and so will you. You will be getting up on Saturday morning, bright and early, before the rest of the world wakes up, and you're going to be checking for the latest job postings, and get those apps out. Why do you do that? Because you want to get to the top of the stack of the job prospects, right? Company puts out a job posting. It's super easy to get out an application these days with all these platforms. They get overwhelmed by responses, right? They get overwhelmed with the number of people who don't do a lot of work, just click a button and submit their applications. And so what do? They start at the top of the stack and they, work their way until they find a couple of people to call in. Well, if you wait 24 hours, 48 hours, this is the perfect job for me. It was posted 4 days ago. You're not getting that job. You're not getting that job. Too many other people have already clicked that submit button by then. So, lots of different tricks on how we get to the top of the stack. But the key one is, check twice a day. Check on the weekends when everybody's taking the week off. If everybody, you want outsized returns, you got to put in outsized effort. That means getting up on the weekends, getting those job applications out. I'm going to be up. I'm going to be checking those numbers. And I see every Sunday, every Saturday, that there are new job postings in the last 24 hours. I see it every week. And come Monday, a bunch of people are going to be rushing and putting out job applications for all those jobs that were posted in the last 48 hours. But you'll already be at the top of the stack because you got up early, got yourself a carbonated beverage, and you took care of business. That's what you're doing. You're in the business of getting a job right now. That's your job. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put in that effort. We're going to focus, and we're going to do what it takes. We're going to do what it takes to get that job. Right? We're going to go the extra mile. So here we go. Have a great weekend. It's been rainy here the last couple of days in Austin, Texas. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a break on the weather. Get out a little bit. It's great for my son's garden in the backyard, but not so good for my daily walks around the neighborhood. So sunnier days, I hope, are ahead. Both literally and figuratively. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend.